evening, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome again to another edition of We Sports Talk. Every Monday night, you can join us here on Channel 14, We Sports, from 8 p.m. until 9 p.m. for Sports Talk. Remember, We Sports, Channel 14 is the only all-local sporting television station in Trinidad and Tobago, bringing you 24 hours of local sport. Tonight, we talk football. Football, of course, very much in the news, given all the events that have transpired over the last week, particularly involving Trinidad and Tobago's senior women's team that have traveled to Dallas, short of funds, short of equipment, short of support. But tonight here, we talk with members of the Northern Football Coaches Association. We talk about the state of football. We talk about the state of football in the North. We talk about youth development in the North. And we talk about upcoming elections in terms of football. Joining me right next to me is Carlos Franco. Let me welcome him. Carlos, welcome.
How you doing? How you doing, Andrew?
And right next to him is Mr. Nevik Dinoon. Mr. Dinoon, welcome as well.
Thanks to be here.
And right next to him is Mr. Paul Maurice. Mr. Maurice, welcome as well.
Thank you very much for being here.
First, let me start with Carlos, who is next to me. Carlos, the state of Northern Coaches Association, the state of coaching in the North. What's going on? What's the problems that you're all facing?
Well, there are a range of problems, from lack of equipment, poor contractual agreements. You have coaches not being paid for work that they've done over 2 years. Right?
Responsibility to pay the coach. You mean the individual clubs itself?
Sometimes clubs, a lot of complaints from the schools,
okay.
A lot of different complaints. So the association now is more on a forward drive to fix some of those issues and to address them.
When you said the not being paid, meaning that the schools say they have no funding or they have no money, what's going on?
Well, some of the
just so bad they don't want to pay them.
Some of the complaints have come from actually the type of arrangement that's been made between the school and the coach, okay. Right? Standard-wise, there should be a contract, and the contract should stipulate your time, your work, and your rules of engagement, right? What has been happening though is that there's an arrangement between the Ministry of Education and the school, where the ministry approves the coach and supplies the funding or whatever payment structure, right? What has happened is that a lot of coaches have submitted their documents, and it's taking months for them to get the approval. 1, 2, sometimes they take even longer to get their payments. Some haven't been paid at all. Some coaches work for the 2013 season and probably still waiting to be paid for that season, and it's already 2014. And I'm talking about some prominent brothers involved in developing these kids, right? So these problems compounded with a lot of coaches complaining that for their time they're not being paid correctly. You're talking about, you have coaches coaching for like 2 hours, right, Nevik?
Yeah.
For $40 an hour. You know.
Well, any reason has been given to the association why they haven't been paid?
Well, that's the whole thing. Who makes these decisions? Is there standardized benchmark that coaches should be paid according to their qualifications, according to the levels of experience, according to the hours, the man hours that they work? And that is the culture we spoke about the last time, the bag and the balls on your back. The days that I've done, people have spent 3-4 years at university, some have spent 2, some have been continuing their training, right? And the time has come for there to be some standard criteria for remuneration. That is across the board, up to the national level, eh? Same thing going on. So it's not just at the zone,
right.
At the national level, coaches haven't been paid, and they can't find money to be paid the coaches.
So why the coaches continue to, I've asked this question before obviously, so why do you continue to do a job if you're not being paid?
Well, and that's the problem. That's one of the problems. We are the masters of our downfall, right? There comes a time you need to stop. You just need to stop, because people won't understand your value until you're not there, right? So that's what the association is lobbying for now. We are putting things in place to make sure that these type of situations come to a stop, because they continue to do it over and over and over and over. The kind of complaints Andrew have been hearing, it's sometimes tears. The only thing that come there is tears.
So essentially, is it an all-wrong complaint in terms of lack of payment, or the majority is related to the Ministry of Education?
Some is related to the Ministry of Education, some of it, and some probably other arrangements, right? But what I'm saying is that we should start with this simple contract, and that's something that coaches don't do. You know, they just
How many coaches do you all have in the Northern Coaches?
We have over 100. Registered, we have 100.
Right,
and then we have some who are still on the outskirts, haven't paid up, but still members actively involved, right? So that's what the situation looks like right now.
We bring in Mr. Dinoon. Mr. Dinoon, the same sort of question in terms of going forward. Besides the problem just mentioned, obviously, by Carlos, what other problems are you all facing?
Well, one of the main things I would say is representation And it has to do with infrastructure, it has to do with development and education. Education is one of the key factors that we're able to bring the footballing talent forward. First, by the coaches. We need to have advanced courses to educate the coaches so they could further educate the students under their charge. Also important, the facilities. We have been playing in the Savannah for the past, from 19 whenever, right? Even there are a lot of historical, things in the Savannah, and we need to really bring it to a level where we could be appreciated, because most of the old players would talk about the grandstand in Savannah and how it used to be so wonderful and a lot of memories. These guys, many of these guys are still alive, but there's no football proper structure, organization in the zone to bring back that football where we could get some of these old icons to come and grace the fields. So the future and the youth, no youth football for the past 2 years in the North Zone. I mean, it's terrible.
Explain that though, because I mean, people will find that very strange. Why no youth football? What's the reason, Mr.
Well, so far, we haven't been given any logical reasoning for the non-existence of the football. But the effect, that is the issue that is affecting us as clubs, because we would usually prepare. We had elements in over there. We would prepare our kids to come between the August, June, July, August holidays, and then they would go on to their schools and different clubs in September. But because there's no football, these kids are left idly about they run to and fro and involve themselves in a lot of activities which are unwanted. And now the parents are also now incorporated in this situation where there's no football. So what are the kids going to do? So we have a serious issue. The fields, playing under 10s, under 12s, under 14s, the field, no proper infrastructure. They have these young kids playing on a big field. One time my goalkeeper, the ball bounced over his head because he goal so big, he cried, and I had to kind of soothe him for the whole day, trying to let him know that is nothing, it's just but we're trying to get the powers that be in the zone to recognize the dire need for better facilities, better everything. We really in the doldrums right now, and it's time for us to move forward, without fear or favor, going forward for the positive development of the youth, especially in the north. And this is an opportunity that we could use to further help develop the kids, so Trinidad and Tobago on the whole could get better players, better people, and better representation at the national level.
And we'll come back and talk more about that. So let's bring in Mr. Paul Maurice here from the club of Port Celtic. Mr. Maurice, welcome. Tell us about your role as a coach, as a co-owner of Port Celtic. Tell us a little bit about that club as well.
Right, well, I say I've been involved in the league now for the last 4 years, so I'm relatively new to football in Trinidad and Tobago. I'm from Ireland originally. I grew up with the football system in Ireland. And since I've been here, I've very much enjoyed it. I'm very passionate about football.
What brought you to Trinidad?
Work. Actually, I transferred down to work at Hyatt, and I ended up forming the football team out of nothing really, and just from the love of people, and I like being organised and help bringing things forward. Right. So Nevik spoke about the infrastructure. And I find there is.
So you're Irish, but the name of your club is Port Celtic?
Yes.
Celtic is Scottish?
Somewhat, yeah. Glasgow Celtic, they're generally, where the Celts are Irish, so that's, we're the Celtic Warriors and the Soca Warriors, and we represent Port of Spain and the environs, so we're not just tied down to one general area. And the standard of football here, we in a local community back home, everyone's involved, and I think it's just moving forward. The infrastructure is there, but it's now for everyone to bring what they can to the table, so we can move forward in a positive way. Once people bring their ideas, there's a lot of people that have ideas, a lot of people who want to contribute to it, and I think at the moment now we need to let these people come and contribute and move forward, so we can help raise the level of football locally, and that'll help internationally too.
Just as the two gentlemen before you, Mr. Franco and Mr. Denoon, mentioned some of the difficulties. What are some of the difficulties that you have encountered?
I suppose the similar as well is the financial support. I've pretty much done this by myself. I've got some support from Guru Health Snacks, from Trigon, Cellmaster, along the way, but it's not enough. I spent a lot of money out of my pocket over the last 5 years, And as much as I love doing it now, I'm starting to get the guys involved more too, so we need to think about it, because I can't fund one team and everyone in the division is the same. It's too much, and a lot of people are in the same boat as me. You know, trying to get the league fees paid for. You know, it's tough. You know, everyone has their responsibilities. Everyone has to cover the roof over their head, put food on the table, and like the expense of $5,000 a year just to join the league alone, it's taxing. You know, and then you have to think about football, equipment, traveling to games for players, everything that comes together.
How many persons do you have on your team?
My squad this year is around 25 to 30 people.
What's the average age?
From 16 years and up. But the youngest have 15 and up to say around 41, I think is the youngest.
Right. Okay.
So it's a good mix, and people from all over, people from San Fernando, people from the east, people from the northwest, people from central.
And how is the association assisting you? Because you're obviously a member of the Northern Coaches Association.
They've been very grateful in allowing me to join the league, and you know, I've had a good relationship with them. I haven't really asked for much, or I haven't received as much, but you know, I say it's. I think there more could be done, as you mentioned, like the facilities alone. Like I find that the playing services are poor. Like even a simple thing like having the grass cut on a more frequent occasion. You know, instead of every 3 weeks, maybe when it's in rainy season, it's cut it every second week. And where I come from, as a club, we used to handle it all ourselves. And maybe I think it's time that the clubs maybe give a bit more
Where is
ownership.
most of your team's football played? In Savannah?
Savannah generally, yes. Yeah, in one of the fields there.
So that leads me to the question. So you mentioned the Savannah. But is there a set field or do you play on any available field? How it works?
You see, like I was saying, right, without no apologies, total mayhem.
Yeah.
Right, you know, you have a match card for a ground, and when you reach down the ground and mark off, and you have to go back next field. So
who's responsibility to mark it off?
Well, that is the function of the zone. The zone responsible for having the games
sure.
And the nets up. You know, just a couple of weeks back, we had a game, and there's this church league running on a Saturday.
Right, okay.
There's a church league running on Saturday, and we had a game card at 3:30, and when you reach at 3:15, you want to start 3:30, only to realize that 3:30 the match now blow for half time. And this match was carded to start 3:30. Well, he had the problem now when the referee come and he run the side of the field, the church side, so it's a bacchanal start there, and only to find out when you go in and start the church team coming to take down the net because it's them net, and it's a whole set of different issues that we have with the referees also not coming and they want to give me as a coach the flag and a whole number of other issues that it really.
Who is in charge of the North Zone, Mr. Dino?
Right now, Mr. Ford is the president. And
what's his name, full name?
Mr. Roland Ford, he's the president.
Roland Ford, right.
Yes, he's the president.
How long has he been the president?
Like, almost forever. You know?
How old is he now?
Mr. Ford could be like maybe close to 70, I would say, maybe around.
So have you tried to speak to him and talk to him about this matter?
Yes, we haven't, and you know, there's a number of issues that keep coming up about who was supposed to be the responsibilities, the vice president, and this one was supposed to do that, and this one that. After all has been said and done, it's the clubs and the players who are suffering.
Yeah.
Because, I mean, to prepare for a league, especially with youths, and when you promise children things and you don't give them, everybody would know that. You don't have to be a football coach to know when you promise children something, right? And they prepare themselves, and then when the time comes, you're telling them, boy, it's nothing again, and, you know, it's you know what I mean? You're getting that negativity, and that is where we're trying to prevent. We're looking at the positiveness that could come out of sport and through education and getting the kids involved so that, you know, in the north where everything's supposed to be happening, you know what I mean? Like right now we have Mr. Kubal singing in the north. You know what I'm saying to you? And they have, you know, students asking about that, players asking about that. So I think in the north we really need to get our act together to improve everything.
So the North Zone has fallen down, you feel?
Not feel, sir.
Is
our team has been playing association football since 1985.
Right.
And from 1985 to now, well, I say we going downhill and fast.
Stagnant.
It you know, stagnated. A lot of, you know what I mean? Retardation then, so to speak. You know, we unable to move forward. You know, the kids don't have anything to look forward to within the past 2-3 years. And as a result of that, like our team, I have to find other alternatives now. Like Eddie Hart Football League, let some of the players go and play with different teams just to get that playing then, because at the end of the day, kids need to play football in order to develop further, and that camaraderie right now is what we look forward to is getting the kids from young to intertwine with each other so that we don't have no borderline. So if I see you, I'm from Mova, and this one from Port of Spain, this one from Gonzales, because we have teams from Gonzales, Port of Spain, Chanceta Hawks, we have Clozel with Gonzales, Dada from Chanceta Hawks, Mr. Curtis O, Net Shakers, we have Lavante United, Mr. Hazelwood. So we have plenty spring youths. So we have a number of clubs and have a lot of young emerging clubs that want to come but frightened to come. So what we advocating here is better accommodation, you know, when you're inviting people to the facilities. And the fees, I mean, we have been paying fees 5,100 every year to play. For the past 3 years, no match pass, no opening, no presentation. No, it really unsatisfactory.
Carlos, that following on exactly from what we're talking to Mr. Ninoon about, in terms of trying to talk with the association, not working?
Well,
the North Zone I'm talking about, the North Zone president and the vice president and those officials.
Well, they are all actively involved with clubs also.
Okay.
Right, so they know what's going on. Yeah. We have voiced our concerns. I have also invited them earlier, one of the executive members earlier in 2013 to one of our consultations at the stadium. Mr. Orr was the president, and they didn't show up, right? Because I think in that forum they would have been able to hear most of the clubs are coaches.
Okay.
So what is happening now is that because of that unwillingness to communicate, there comes a time when we have to take matters into our own hands as far as being masters of our destiny, right? To compound what Mr. Ninoon is saying, the whole structure in order for proper development in Trinidad and Tobago, Andre, there's this top-down approach. This superstructure, the top. I don't know where it come from. I know these guys still feel the colonial days. That once you take up a position as a president, you are the master of all. You serve everything. No. The people that are involved in football have an equal stake. It belongs to everybody, right? When you could go and meeting and you have a certain president say he's gonna give his zone to another man and all this kind of nonsense. He's gonna elect somebody. He's gonna elect somebody else. This is the kind of conversation.
You said that?
Yes, this is the kind of conversations you have with people, and without proper consultation, football doesn't belong to a clique.
Because this year is the election, right?
Yeah, football don't belong to a clique. Football doesn't belong to this Nevik and Paul. Football belongs to all of us.
Of course.
Right? And there comes a time when we have to say enough is enough. Right? Football doesn't belong to the TTF executive. And it starts from the grassroots come up. They don't build a house on the top. And they want to continue this nonsense and use PR and all these tournaments that the football teams are playing in, and one backfired the idea, as we know, right, to justify all football is moving forward. But when you look at the structure, the infrastructure, the kids are never talking about Paul, the facilities, it's a mess. It's in a mess, so we need to bring reality. Let the people of Trinidad and Tobago know what's really going on. Stop hiding behind the curtains of PR.
So what's next for you all as the association? What's next?
Well, strategically, we have some plans in place. One, there should be a whole new mindset, or I should say, there should be a changing of the guard. Right? The succession plan is not there. The people believe that they should stay there till they're old and grey and die, and with them goes everything. Right? There should be succession planning. Right? And without succession planning, you have successful organizations. So what happens is that now we have to take the mantle because we are the clubs. We spend the time with the kids. We spend time in the rain with those kids, not the guys who sit down and have a drink and talk about. No, we spend the time. So what is going to happen now is that we are actually moving into administration. Some of us, Nevik is a qualified coach at university level, right? Paul is a businessman. I am also qualified in sport management, psychology, and other aspects of. We have members of the Coaches Association. Mr. O is a sports scientist, qualified, right, up to the FIFA B license. We have psychologists, Mr. Your batch from Ken Eli is also a psychologist. So we have people within the organization with the skill sets to move this stuff forward. So it's not a top-down approach where you have two men at the top want to make all the decisions. This is a collaborative effort, and that is what we're going forward with.
All right, go take a short break here. This is We Sports. This is Sports Talk, and we're talking football with members of the Northern Football Coaches Association. We'll be back to talk more about football here on We Sports Channel 14.